You're listening to the Global Ed Podcast, where educators share inspiring and thought-provoking stories from around the world.
In this episode, I'll be speaking with Rafei, a refugee from Afghanistan. Rafei is currently located in Indonesia, where he's the director of the Refugee Learning Nest, a school run by refugees for refugees. Welcome to the podcast, Rafei.
Thank you, Gavin. It's a pleasure to be here.
As we get started, Rafei, just tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
I'm originally from Afghanistan, but I was born and raised in Abu Dhabi, and I've come to Indonesia in 2017. And I joined a community-based learning center here. And since 2019, I'm a board member and director of Refugee Learning Nest.
Afghanistan has a multi-generational refugee problem, dating from 1979 and then continuing with multiple wars and conflicts since. In the host countries, the refugees live in very difficult circumstances. The host countries are under strain, and there's a lot of resentment of the refugees' presence. There are limits on their ability to work and access full public services such as education and healthcare.
Before we hear about the Refugee Learning Nest, I'm interested to hear how you became a refugee and what the circumstances were that caused you to flee Afghanistan and make the journey all the way across to Indonesia.
I was born and raised in Abu Dhabi, and I was able to finish my high school, and I've also studied 2 years of business management, but unfortunately I couldn't complete it because I got deported from Abu Dhabi. They were deporting people with a specific belief or ethnics. Shia believers, Shia Muslims were getting deported due to their political situations.
Having lived in Abu Dhabi for the first 20 years of your life and then being abruptly deported to Afghanistan, I'm guessing that there would have been a fair amount of culture shock. Was that the case for you?
In Afghanistan, the first year was like a hell to me. It was really difficult to adapt to the society, to the culture, and everything was so different.
Was this your first time in Afghanistan, or had you visited it before?
I was never been in Afghanistan, and it was after 20 years, it was my first time being there, and it was scary. I mean, the people around and, the news and then things that you see with your own eyes, the bomb blast, which happened really close that I could hear and I could see it. And it was so... the feeling, I cannot describe it. It was really scary. And you feel anytime you might be targeted.
While you were there, I know that you got a job working in a secure foreign business compound and that you were the person in charge of issuing the access cards. Can you share with me what happened to the compound that was just next to the one that you worked in, please?
On a Christmas night, some terrorists somehow they were able to enter that place, and they were equipped with the guns, and they shoot it on everyone. And on Christmas night, many people, foreigner and locals, have died. And at the end, when they start firing, once it's ended, and then they will blast themselves.
Can you share with me how that event led to you coming under threat?
So the reason why I have to leave the country so quick was I started getting emails, and I was proposed a big amount of money to just let some people come inside and then provide them with the ID cards. Also started getting texts. At first it was more a proposing a big amount of money, and later it was threat. You have to do this, otherwise you wouldn't be safe here.
Yeah, I'm sure that when you're threatened in Afghanistan, you have to take it seriously, particularly from the type of people who are looking to gain access to the compound. So when you made the decision that you had to flee, how long did it take you to get out of there?
Within the 4 days, I've spoken to agent that I had, and it was a quick decision. I didn't have enough time to take my stuff or have a discussion with for example, with my friends or parents or anyone to let them know what's going on, because I at the same time, I was thinking I don't want to involve anyone in this. So what if, like, if I leave and then from stresses they will get to someone else, to a friend or a close one. So yeah, that's the reason I had to leave the country so quick.
When you left, did you have a plan or a particular end destination in mind?
So the first thing, what I was thinking, that I have to leave this country, and I was more concerned about my safety. And to be honest, I wasn't like so much thinking of the what's going to happen next. I was like, let me get somewhere safe, and then I will sort it out. Yeah, that's how I ended up in Indonesia. There was an agent, and then I paid him, and then he provided me the needed visas, passport, and everything. And yeah, different through India, then Malaysia, then Indonesia.
There has been refugees who've travelled to Indonesia with the hope of getting on a boat to Australia. Was that something that you were aiming for?
My dad lives in Melbourne, so I was quite hopeful that maybe I can try my chances to Australia, maybe.
Sending a message to asylum seekers and the Australian people. By signing this agreement with his counterpart from Papua New Guinea, Kevin Rudd has sought to reduce the number of refugees who come to his country.
From now on, any asylum seeker who arrives in Australia by boat will have no chance of being settled in Australia as refugees.
I was quite hopeful to get any chances for Australia. That was my future plan once I arrived here. And also I was quite hopeful towards UNHCR as well. I was like, maybe they will take some quite of time, and then later they will interview me, and then the normal process that's been going on. But then UNHCR also is not been really clear, and it's almost for bachelor above 18, it's almost impossible to do anything for them.
While some might consider this decision draconian, many voters in Australia are eager to end the steady numbers of boat people who often risk their lives in making the dangerous journey. Just a few days ago, a boat carrying 150 suspected asylum seekers capsized off the Australian territory of Christmas Island, with several people confirmed dead.
Definitely, I wouldn't go through that way, because I also experience my far relatives or the people I knew, the families who got drowned on the way. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend, or I wouldn't try that.
Stuck along the now shut people smuggling route to Australia, these migrant communities have nothing to do but wait.
Indonesia is not a signatory to the main conventions and protocols relating to the treatment and care of refugees. So there's no right to an education, an elementary education here in Indonesia.
You've been in Indonesia for quite a few years now. Tell me about your involvement in the Refugee Learning Nest.
Yeah, since then I'm a part of Refugee Learning Nest. It's a community-based learning center. And then I've started with teaching English. And since 2019, the board member and director of Refugee Learning Nest.
When was the Refugee Learning Nest founded, and what was its purpose?
March 2015 was the Refugee Learning Nest was established. And the reason for the establishment was the people who were living in this area, they were really concerned about their children's education, because the kids were growing up at home doing nothing, and then most of the parents also, they are from their background, they were not educated as well. So it was really a difficult situation. So that's the reason of the establishment. The refugees, the refugee community here, they were concerned about education. So they've founded a place where with few rooms, and then we rent it out, and then we try to touch it with a little bit based on our needs, and that's how the classes and the school was built.
The students who attend the Refugee Learning Nest, where do they come from, And why is it that they can't just go to, say, a local Indonesian school?
Refugees here, they are not allowed to go to a formal schools, universities, and they are not allowed to have education here. So yeah, that's why this nest was established, and it's from refugees for refugees, meaning all of the staff who are working here, they are volunteer, and then the students who are coming for like different subjects or different activities, all of them are refugees, and they are from different backgrounds, diverse background from the Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and recently in last couple of years we also have increased number of refugees from Vietnam or Myanmar. So yeah, we have some new students in last few months who are from Myanmar, and then their stories are almost similar to like everyone else, and everyone's here because the country wasn't safe for them.
Presumably the children at the school are in Indonesia with their families. Are the families supportive of them attending your school, and what do they hope that they might gain from it?
Definitely, it's one of the important needs of the families and children to get the education. And we are helping here people to get ready for the third country, because none of them are here to get settled here in Indonesia, and then it's an impossible option. But what we can do here, at least to people, adults who want to go to third country, let's say Canada, US, or Australia. So the very first thing they need once they've arrived is be able to speak up. So that's why we encourage adults, the parents, to come and learn English, and also some other capacity building activities that we provide.
Just out of interest, do you have any Indonesian students who come to the school?
So far, we had only refugee students, because for locals or any other person, they have a better opportunity or privilege to join like maybe some other formal schools.
Yeah, okay. So, Rafei, could you describe to me what your school looks like, please?
Our school is, it looks like a villa where we have more than 7 classes, and an office where I am right now. And from Monday to Thursday, from 8 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon, we run different classes. The subjects that we teach here are computer, math, science, English, arts, sports, etc. And this year we have a team of 24 volunteers. 19 of them are volunteer teachers and volunteer staff who comes to the school on daily basis, Monday to Thursday.
Most of the children go without school for years while waiting for resettlement. But here at the Refugee Learning Nest, dreams are big.
In the future, I want to be a doctor to help some people. To not get sick, like in Africa, in Iraq, in Syria.
When I grow up, I will become a doctor.
Arriving from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, and Iraq, the sense of community among people here is strong.
Rafei, can you tell me what teaching and learning looks like at your school, please?
I think it would be similar to any other classes. We follow a curriculum, which is, I think, Singaporean. So, yeah, we requested that from one of our friends, and they provided us the whole curriculum. So, yeah, we have the teachers who a day before, for a couple of hours, 3 hours maybe, they learn the subjects themselves, and then the next day they come and like teach it and answer the possible questions. Yeah, so that's how teaching goes here.
It's great that you've been able to get some curriculum from your contacts in Singapore. Does the school also offer a formal curriculum where students can pass and get a certificate from?
This year we we already started the GED studies, which is General Education Diploma. And this is the first time where our teacher is already graduated from this GED program, and now she's come back and try to teach the rest of the students who are like want to get the diploma. And in GED program, there are 4 subjects. We were able to cover 2 subjects with refugee teacher, but then we are looking forward to the remaining subjects.
It's been mentioned a few times that your teachers are also refugees. Could you tell me a little bit more about that, please?
So the first thing is all of the volunteers here, they are refugees, and they are also from diverse background. We had a volunteer from Iraq, from Pakistan, from Iran, Afghanistan. The similarity is all of us are refugees, and for everyone, it wasn't safe back home.
Do you have any cases where students who've attended your school then come back and act as volunteer teachers?
We encouraged and we supported our young students who were like getting, let's say, graduated from the school. So we encourage them to you've learned whatever we could provide, so they come back and teach to the other students and younger students. So that's how it's been rolling and going on.
It's great that you've been able to get some of your graduating students back into the classroom to teach, but I guess that's always going to be a limited number. So what do the majority of students do when they graduate from your school?
That's really one of the biggest challenges we face here. Is, as I mentioned, once they are graduated, let's say from grade 8, we don't have access, or we don't have the capacity to do something further for them. And we try to connect them to online programs, online studies, but it's really limited. And also we try to take some of them back, and then, as a volunteer teacher, so they teach the younger students. But then this is not enough. We cannot cover everyone.
Refugees and other conflict-affected persons are reported to have a 15 to 30% prevalence of PTSD and depression, compared to the 3.5% prevalence of PTSD among non-refugee populations. The strongest predictors of poor mental health are exposure to torture and the cumulative number of traumatic events, separation from family, stressful asylum processes, isolation, and disadvantage in the host country all worsen mental health. The post-migration environment, mainly prolonged detention, insecure immigration status, poor access to services, and limitations on work and education, can worsen mental health.
Given all the experiences that your students and families have had in the lead up to them becoming refugees and now being stuck in this limbo state while they wait for resettlement, what impact does that have on the young people that you see?
As the process of resettlement is getting longer, let's say for a family who comes here, maybe after 5 or 6 years, they hear back something, or most of the families also, they are still, they haven't got their interview, and then nobody is asking about them. So the mental health is really bad here.
How does that manifest itself in the young people that you see?
Unfortunately, since a couple of years, we have more than 14 to 15 suicide attempts from refugees, male, female, different people. And then, that's really concerning. And most of them are from youth category. They are not elder people. They are from youth. And that's really concerning that at what situation their mental health is, that they think that the only way would be ending their life. So, we would like to get support and help from more professionals and people who can reach out and do something for the youth or refugees who are living in Indonesia.
So what resources does the school need to seek to adequately address these needs?
I think if any activity, any resources that is provided to address this problem would be helpful. And there isn't any high demands or anything big, but even if a small numbers in a small amount, if there can be any sort of help to first of all hear them out, what are the concerns, what are their thoughts, and yeah, later also have a good follow up on with them, and then make sure that they are doing well. So yeah, any sort of resource or activity or help to address this issue would be helpful.
So, with the resources that you do have, how are you able to help these young people with their mental health needs?
There's a lot of sad stories and sad thoughts that are going on among the community. And then what we try to do is come up with some simple strategies to to help them a little bit to cope with the stress. And also many of our volunteers also part of staff who have been like trained well, and now they are having participants.
It must be so hard for these children and their families, given all the experiences that they've had that have led them to become refugees and now being stuck in this limbo state while they wait for resettlement. Do you ever see families who are successfully resettled to countries such as Australia or the US? And if so, do they still keep in touch with you?
Since 2015, we had hundreds of students, families who got resettled, and now they are in either in US, Australia, or Canada. And then we are still in touch and we communicate, whether it's a volunteer teacher who used to be with us or a student. And being at Nest was one of their most important and memorable time of their life. Fortunately, most of our students, they have been really thankful and happy for being in the classes and learning the subjects. And sometimes they share that even the subjects that we teach here is something that they will learn in the next year once they are like in upper grades. So yeah, and that's all what we want and what we want to hear, what we want to see. We demand nothing from anyone here. Just once they are in third country, if we were able to make their life a little easier for them, either by the education, the subjects, the language, I think we've done our job pretty well.
We applaud the efforts of all these different organizations who are standing up to provide these essential services to children. The bigger picture is that there are thousands.
The school is at full capacity, even running a waiting list for those hoping to attend, offering the hope of a better future to those children from war-torn areas.
Rafei, what would happen if the Refugee Learning Nest didn't exist?
Yeah, this is one of the topics that sometimes we have to discuss about. If Ireland wouldn't be here, I think we could see a lot of children, they cannot speak English, and a lot of students who are uneducated, they don't know how to count, they don't know no knowledge from the basic subjects. And then also because it's not only about the class books and subjects, we are teaching them manners at the same time. So we can see the students, they learn to say thank you, please, or some basic communication knowledge, how to speak to elders and how to speak to your teacher. And then, at the time when you are overwhelmed or you're angry, what should you do and what is the right way to do? So there are these little things where I think it builds the character of a children from young age. If this wouldn't exist, I think there would be a big mess.
I'm sure. I suspect that the families of your students are pretty thankful for the school and the opportunities that their kids get by attending.
There are a lot of families who comes here, and then when we talk, they are really happy about how their children is growing, how they are becoming a good learner, how their manners have changed, and they're really happy and satisfied seeing the kid growing like that. And every time we see, they're really thankful. And then they say we can't imagine that if this didn't exist, what would they do?
You just mentioned about how the children are growing, but I'm really interested to hear from you about how you've grown as a person and as a leader through your involvement in the school.
I think if I wasn't at the RLN, I wouldn't become the person that I am today. And then I'm really grateful that I was able to be one of the members here. The things that I experienced, that I learned, not only about, let's say, education, refugees, but personally about life, about families, and everything. So I'm really grateful, and I think I am at least the best version of myself at the moment by by the blessings that I get here, that I'm able to work, make some decisions which I can see is benefiting many families and people around me.
So we're approaching 60 million people who are forcibly displaced in this world today. It would be in the strategic self-interest of countries to educate the children coming from war zones, the children who, if educated, could become the forces of reconstruction, of reconciliation. I really strongly believe for that reason alone, it should be compelling enough to educate the kids. These are the kids and the people and the future of the region who can stop the cycle of violence. These could be the future of peace.
Rafei, what are your hopes for the future of the Refugee Learning Nest and its students?
Hope that what we've provided here, first of all, would be a little bit of help for them where once they get in third country. And then I wish them to take the most out of the privilege or the situation that they are in. Do not waste your time, and then get your education, build your career, and do well and be a good member of the society that you're living in.
And Rafei, I have to ask, what hopes do you have for your own life?
Get somewhere where I have my basic rights. I can start a family. I can send my children to a formal school, and live the life. I don't have high expectation. Just a small room, a small family, would be ideal for me.
Thank you, Rafei, for sharing your story on the Global Ed podcast. I truly wish you and your students and all your families all the very best of luck with everything that they have in their future.
Thank you very much for reaching out, for hearing me and listening to stories. And I hope that we could get to as many people as possible to know our story, to know why are we here, and to understand us better.
Well, this was the final episode for Season 2. I really hope that you've enjoyed listening. I would like to thank all my guests for the time they've taken to share their stories with me as I've put this season together. If you did enjoy this podcast, please do consider sharing it within your networks. And of course, if you know any school leaders in unique situations who might have an interesting story to tell, please ask them to get in touch with me, Gavin Kinch.